Do.
Good morning.
Howdy.
How are you this morning, Todd?
I am 92%.
92%. What did you say? You're an A minus?
Yep. A minus.
Good morning, Bumcrack.
Not
Good
too
morning,
far
Lag.
away from a B plus, but I'm all right.
Well, in my day, I'd take an A minus over a B plus.
Did you make good grades when you were in school?
It depends on what class it was.
It depends on what class. It's funny what in the classes I didn't like, I didn't score very well. But if I liked the class and enjoyed the teacher and stuff like that, I usually did pretty good.
Well, on the cruise, I was sitting at a slot machine, and the guy beside me, we were talking, and he's an old guy like us, and he had retired from teaching a couple of years ago, and he said by the time and he taught um, upper maths, algebra 3, calculus, stuff like that. Good morning, Maggie.
Mm.
And by the time he retired, he said he hated going to school, having to go teach. He said because even though these were advanced math classes, he said those kids didn't want to be there, and they did just enough to pass the class. And he just said he just had had enough when he retired, and he didn't enjoy teaching. And he said when I first started teaching, I liked it. So I you see I was in band, and I really didn't like band. I didn't like. I mean, I was there. I made good grades in it. I just and I don't know how I ended up in band. I think it was just I needed a curriculum. My older brother played. He played the trumpet, baritone, and the tuba. And I guess that's because when I started, actually, he started off with a cornet, then a trumpet, and then a baritone, and then a tuba. And I guess it was just the fact that he was in it, and I knew I needed to have some kind of, curricular activities or whatever you call them. And um, so that's how I got into it. But it wasn't my favorite class.
Yeah, there's just so much math, science, and social studies you can stand in a high school career.
Well, I liked history. That was my favorite subject was history. And shut up, lag. Yes, I know I've lived through most of the
Lived
recent
through most of it.
history, but like I think I'm sure I mentioned before. I talked to a friend a couple of years ago who was the first chair trumpet player, and when we had our spring concert, when he came out, he looked like he was a 60-year war veteran. He had so many medals on his
Uh-oh.
chest from all the competitions and stuff like that.
Tom, we got a raid from Cajun Roots reseller morning show.
Oh, really? Cool.
I guess they just finished over there on Johnny's channel and
Uh, Good morning, Maury.
welcome.
Welcome, Cheryl. Glad to have you in here. Thank
Maury
you.
Amsterdam. Wasn't he on the Dick Van Dyke show or something?
Who?
Maury Amsterdam. Where did I?
Yeah, he was on the Dick Van Dyke Show. He was the little short comedian, writer. Cheryl, good morning. Thank you for everybody from coming over from Cajun Roots Reseller. We appreciate it. Uh, I still get an extracurricular activities going on.
Morning,
Badoom by
Cheryl.
lag.
Morning, Cheryl. There's two Cheryls. And we got Maggie. Maggie was over there too.
Oh, okay. Good morning, Maggie. Hope you're doing well this morning. But now it's like, people that friends that I have friends that I have that are teachers, if I can say it, blah, 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 blah. You know, kids are starting school off with first grade. They've got a plan to be able to get into Duke and all of those high end universities. Good morning, Stillin. Thank you for coming over. Ipsy Queen, glad to see you this morning. Um, you know, I'm glad my kids are out of school now, and and I'm glad I don't have little ones in starting off in school because it's so political now. And I mean, it was political when we were in high school, but I had the dirt on most people, so
Yeah.
I did. They didn't mess with me too much because, as I've said before, I was in the high school in the '70s when the economy was in the tubes, and my dad was a land surveyor, and he did a lot of work for the developers and stuff like that, and just about all of them owed him money when the economy was so bad because they weren't selling real estate. Jim Carey and I have talked about how hard it was back in those days for realtors. Um, so I didn't, I I couldn't say things like, "Well, I'm glad that y'all going to Colorado skiing. If your daddy would pay my daddy his bill, we might be able to go too." Because my dad would have had a stroke and killed me. I wouldn't be sitting here today. But school is so hard these days. Not just the academics part of it, just surviving. At least that's what I gather from listening to kids and whatnot.
Yeah. School
Wow.
is school is different now, but I don't think it's. I mean, it was when I first started teaching. People would say, "Oh, school is so different now than it was 20 years ago." So people are always saying that.
Good morning, American Honey. How are you this morning? Okay.
Times always change.
It does.
You just got to keep up with it. I mean, kids are kids. They're
Time
teachable.
times change. Like school is still school. It's the way politics are in school has always been there. They will always be there. It's just the world at that time is, has changed. Now we got all this technology, and schools are having to deal with all this classroom technology and whatnot. So, really, it's all the same.
Yeah. Well, when I first started, teachers were all like, "Man, I love this new mimeograph machine. They got the blue ink on your hands.
Yeah, smelled
Oh,
good.
you can run off your test, and not have to write it on the board and have the kids copy it down." I'm like, "Yeah, baby." And then we got Xerox machines.
Yeah,
But then, you know, things are always changing.
yeah. I remember when my dad got his first Xerox machine. I mean, that's what everybody calls them, but that's, it was not. It was a Minolta, I think it was, and you would have to run the original in, and it would make one copy, and then you had to run it through again and make another copy. So, like, he would have manuals on, for lands for subdivisions, and there might be 100 sheets in one manual, and he would have to have 30 manuals to just you had to give to the planning board, and if it was a city county kind of thing, you had to submit to both of their boards. So you'd have all these copies. So we I would get out of high school and go to my dad's office and sit there and make copies all night long, till late at night. My mom would go out and pick up dinner and bring in because we were all copying and sorting.
Yeah, Lag's never heard of a mimeograph machine.
Oh yeah,
They were great big machines, and they had one in the teacher workroom, and you'd put your copy of the test with like a transparency,
right.
like a clear plastic sheet, and run it through one machine, and it would burn the image onto that clear plastic, and then you put the paper in the machine, and there was a fluid and a meme machine.
Well, my dad had in the early days before laser printers. And most time now you see, if you go into an engineer's office or an architect's office, they have what looks like big prints from a photocopier, and that's because they are. Back in the day, the old style was blueprints, and my dad had a blueprint machine, and you would run it through the machine, and with a sheet of blueprint paper behind a your drawing, which was always on tracing paper or something of that sort. And then you would take when it came out, you take the sheet of blueprint and paper and run it through the top part of the machine where there was ammonia at, and it would develop. That's what made the green blueprint paper turn blue, and it would keep it from bleaching out in light. And you never ever wanted to knock that ammonia bottle over because it would clear an office in a heartbeat. Your sinuses were good for about 3 days too. But that's just the development of technology. Used to be people had to have a brick and mortar store and advertise in the newspaper and the yellow pages, and now everybody's got successful businesses selling online with eBay and Poshmark and Amazon and all of those. Just times change. So speaking of eBay, you got a lot going on today, going out. Todd.
Sorry, down a
Oh,
rabbit hole.
okay. Sorry, I was just I didn't know whether I locked up or something. Anyway, you got a lot going out today.
Uh, six for 125 bucks.
Okay.
Nothing big, but I had a big weekend, so
Right. Um.
I put him to sleep. I
Yeah.
was I was sitting there
Well, you never
trying to.
know.
I
You.
saw one of those teaching memes on Instagram, and I was trying to find it, and then I got started watching a train hit a car, and just I don't
Okay.
know.
Jeez.
Old man mind, ADD.
There's not a lot
Sorry.
of difference between an 8 year old and a 68-year old man. Their minds just go in all directions. Um, Scott, you on the road today? You busy packing? Oh yeah, and you sit there and sniff those blueprint. I mean those mimeograph pages because they smelled oh so good.
I always wondered if that stuff made you high because it had a definite odor,
Yeah.
unlike anything.
Yeah, the suck ups would always get to go down to the teachers' lounge with the teachers and crank that thing for her. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Some of the biggest uh, problems between teachers arose over the wait time to use the mimeograph machine in the school because there was only one,
Right.
and maybe 20 teachers would share the same mimeograph machine. And so, some teachers go, "This is my regular time to use the mimeograph. I do it every week at this time." And of course, the new teacher in the building would be going, "Sorry, sorry, sorry. Quit being a biatch."
Um, yeah, now teachers are fussing over not having enough. They're having to buy their own copy paper or print paper for their printers and whatnot. But good morning.
How come you took the little labels down? Nobody can see my name.
Just give me a second and let me.
You have to fix that so that everybody can see my name. I typed it. There we go.
Let's get this show banned. Yeah, it's just this one episode.
I decided I had to. I'd made a route and I was ready to go this morning, and I decided I've got too much stuff that I don't have listed yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to stay here and work.
I bet you got enough stuff last week to last you a while of work at the house.
Surprisingly, when you're sourcing what I've been sourcing lately, you go to 50 stores. Each store might have a few things, so you don't pile up a lot of stuff. You pile some different things up, but not tons of.
Hmm.
Listen, if you ever make it to San Juan on a cruise ship, there is a Walgreens about 2 blocks away from the port. So you can go sourcing.
Now, if I got there, I would go in every store but a corporate store. There's no telling what you'd find.
Like you sold some herbal essence.
But
Nah, I saw that yesterday.
they might have a lot of discontinued stuff at San Juan, Puerto Rico
Yeah.
store. Yeah, I sold that on Bonanza yesterday.
Oh, you become a Bonanza person now?
It's free, and all you have to do is sign up, and it pulls everything over every time you list something. I mean, I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. I sold 5 things over there in the last week.
Do you use a cross listing tool or it just pulls it?
It's built in; it just pulls it.
Oh,
You just tell it go get my eBay inventory and give it permission to access your account, and it just does it.
shoot,
If
I
you take
might.
if you take something down, it takes it down. If you add it, it adds. If you change, it updates every 10 minutes or so.
Um, is this for your own consumption, Anissa, or is this for your resale? Your pink suave.
I think she wants it for herself.
Good morning, Mike. Good morning, Kent.
And this, I bet she didn't. I bet she didn't get everything. She's not stubborn like I am. I'll go everywhere. I'll rent a car and go all over the island. I don't care.
But I thought of you saw as soon as I saw that Walgreens, I was like, I wonder if Scott's been to this Walgreens. He's been to just about every one in the continental USA.
I've been to a lot of them now. I've been to more Rite Aids. I've been to like 2,500 Rite Aids. I drive everywhere and I'll go. I have a moment of silence for the dearly departed Rite Aids that I see.
Well, all our Rite Aids are now Walgreens.
Like I was in the tip of Florida for about 12 hours the other day, and the CVS has bought them years ago. You can see a CVS building and go, yep, that was a Rite Aid.
Yeah. So you got a lot going out today?
Oh, I shipped it last night thinking I was leaving today.
Uh, oh, your kid wants it.
Yes, I'm just on a list. I got to get some. I think True Gather does the same thing. It'll pull and you don't have to do anything. I've never.
Anytime I see True Gather, I think of it's a dating site.
I will hit Iowa this year. I've never been to Iowa. Never been.
I know they got big cornfields in Iowa.
That's my big ass pot.
The Macari will pull your eBay inventory now.
Yeah, I bought this weekend.
Magnolite.
Yeah, yep. It's the big 11 1/4 inch monster with the things on it.
Nice.
So he wanted 35. I gave him 25. He said, "I've got the whole set. I just don't ever use this one, so I'm selling it." It was at a community yard sale. Look up this monster. The last one sold for $199 plus shipping.
Man, they're hard to polish.
That one's pretty clean. I'm not gonna mess with it much.
Yep, that's good.
I don't want to scratch it, or because aluminum will scratch.
BP doesn't care. Doesn't dare to come to Iowa. Oh, you shouldn't have said that. He'll be there next week.
That's one of my goals is Iowa and the Minnesota to make sure I've been to those two states I've never been to.
There you go, Lag.
Has anybody jumped on that bandwagon?
What's
on
that?
District?
I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk to some people in person about it. What's his name? Mr. Texas.
Texas Bandit.
Chris the Goose has his own site.
Okay.
And he's supposed to be in Nashville this weekend, so I look forward to meeting Chris in person. And yes, Bonanza is another eBay Etsy site. Canadian, I'm not sure if they do Canadian or not.
You know, this is just a thought. Roberta was trying to find some stuff. She went to Amazon Canada and was trying to find some stuff for a co-worker that lives in Canada now.
There's nothing up there. I mean,
there is not. She was like, I can't find nothing. So we ended up spending $50 to ship some stuff up there to her. I mean,
yeah. So if you've got decent stuff, they're really working hard to try to get you to allow them to list your FBA in Canada. All it is a switch of a button, and then they will. They charge them a nominal shipping fee, but yeah, I've got it turned off right now. But when I had a lot of media, I sold a lot of media up there.
I mean,
I'd list stuff, and I'd be the only one.
I think John was making a big play for Canada, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he's doing it different. He's talking about actually trucking into Canada instead of because he thinks there's a huge opportunity there too. The problem is it's such a wide geographic area and the population is not huge.
Hmm.
I mean, there's some big cities. I mean, you got Toronto and other big, monster cities, but you got provinces out there that's got way more moose than it's got people.
People. Yeah.
That's right.
I've watched some of the train videos of
Oh yeah,
during the
there's some
when
cool trains, man.
during the winter time, and
Yeah,
people are having to wait out by the train track for the train to come by, and there's like 7 feet of snow out there around them. I mean,
yeah. There's also some other ones where they've got some luxury liner trains that go back and forth.
yeah,
Canada's got some cool trains to go back and forth for sure.
yeah. They have one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's. I would like to do it during the winter time because that's when they do it. And it takes you through the Rockies and the Canadian Rockies and everything like that. It's supposed to be really nice.
They call everything Royal up there, so it's probably the Royal something train.
Yeah, but like I said, I was just amazed that she couldn't find anything that she wanted up there. So, um,
I've always wanted to do RA up there. I need to get a passport.
you don't have a passport?
You don't need one to drive around the country.
We're soon going to have. You're going to have one to get into North Carolina pretty soon.
Yeah, right. North Carolina is going so deep Republican that ain't never gonna happen.
Did you? Hey, we've got a medicinal marijuana store in Cherokee, Cherokee, North Carolina now. So bring your prescription.
I'm waiting for them to pass it here. They're dragging their feet. It's been passed here, but they haven't put. It's like every state. The state will pass medical, and then they will spend the next 4 or 5 years arguing how to implement it. It's just so Alabama has had it. So Harlan's significant other is a lawyer, and she works for one of the companies here that's been trying to become one of the. They were going to do five. You had to do bids for five, and the first bid process was a bunch of who paid the most money, and all their buddies got. And so there were lawsuits filed, and they go, well, we'll do it again. It was just as bad the second time around, and so more lawsuits were filed, and now they've determined they're going to open it up to a lot more. So who knows what they're going to do? Her company's already supplying in Mississippi, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, Johnny will have a card. Let's go.
Go to Cherokee. They got to get something going up there because they built Three Kings Casino down on 85, so all the Atlanta traffic is just going straight. You know where Kings Mountain's at? That's where Three Kings Casino's at now. So all the Atlanta traffic is just getting on 85 and driving, straight up to Three Kings instead of having to go through the mountains and all those back roads to get up there.
85 is awful. That's one of the worst interstates in the world.
Absolutely. Yeah, Cherokee's really pretty. You should have seen it in its heyday. Maggie's Valley, all that whole strip up through there.
I got to figure before I go out again how to start recording. Um, I see some of the coolest stuff out there. I drove through before my unfortunate breakdown in Bogalusa, Louisiana. Lord have
Uh-huh.
mercy. It is so. It is amazing how each state is so completely different. The architects. I live I live 10 miles from Tennessee, and it changes as you cross the state line. And same thing in the Mississippi. But when you go into Louisiana, you know you have rolled into Louisiana. The architecture, even the trees have decided they're. I mean, you've got all different kinds of because because of the way the land down there is different and all the water. Man, it is something I see is just so cool. I don't know, Todd. Tom, have you heard about my unfortunate breakdown in Bogalusa?
No, I did not. But hang on just a second. Still in leather. Are you up in Canada?
Yeah, she's Canadian.
Um, I'm in Charlotte, Queen Charlotte, thusly the Queen City. Everybody thinks I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I think that's what I'm gonna start telling people. But every state in the United States has what they call their Queen City. So, but Charlotte is named after Queen Charlotte. We have a painting up at City Hall of her and all that kind of stuff.
I can't. I'm gonna do a lot of things, but okay. So I don't hate LSU. I pull for y'all when y'all play Auburn and y'all play Tennessee. I pull against y'all with Ole Miss because I like the crazy man at Ole Miss. But other than that, most of the time, because it's better when we beat LSU that y'all are decent. Okay, so Tom, here it goes. I had the idea. Some This front wheel of the van had been making a little bit of noise, and everything I could come up with on the internet for 4 weeks said that it was part of the steering, for most likely part of the steering, and it didn't have any effect. You can just keep driving; it wouldn't do anything.
Okay, where was this town that you broke down in?
Bogalusa, Louisiana, 378 miles from here. So I left here at 2 a.m. driving down there, and it only makes that little popping sound in parking lots. So I'm flying down there. I've stopped a couple times. I've bought a few things, and the map showed this little bitty pharmacy, little bitty grocery store, and a couple other stores. There's a Walgreens and I think a CVS. So there's like 4 stores I was going to go to. When I get to the grocery store, and to say it is urban. That's a good description. Urban. Um, yeah, make right down the street, van's making a funny noise. So I pull in, I look all around, I can't find it. I look under it, everything looks halfway normal. I go inside, I don't buy anything, come back out, and go to leave, and it feels like the front wheel will not move because it won't move. And it's popping, and the wheels like the whole front end is shaking. And so I go to take the wheel off to see what's wrong with it. And when they did the alternator last week, they put it on with an impact wrench. I broke the wrench trying to get the lug nuts off, so I couldn't get the wheel off. Um, so I'll have a cheater bar from now on because that sucks. Um,
Damn, you're a long ways from home.
yeah. So then I called Johnny, tell her what was going on. Like, I'm gonna call Geico, see if I tow it somewhere. The first place the guy goes, I'm so covered up. It's like I'm naked being chased by a wasp around here. I'm so covered up. I wish I could tell you. I'm like, oh Lord. Next guy said same thing, covered up, can't help. But he didn't tell me he was naked though, so that's probably pretty good there. I guess Kemp's probably watching this show naked. And Kemp said it's a dark area. That's I said urban, he said dark, whatever. Um, and so I found a shop that says, if you can get it here, we'll look at it. I'm like, all right. So Geico put their address in. Geico says 75 minutes. I'm like, well, shit. So here I am. I'll sit here for 75 minutes in the dark area. There's people wandering around. There's people walking through the little gas station behind me to get their 40s. There's people yelling at each other because they know each other. I mean, I'm in their neighborhood, and a couple people stopped and checked on me. They were super nice. Nobody. I mean, there was never. Nobody was ever anything but nice to me. As I sat there for 3 hours, but you saw the same lady who had a little basket on her bicycle. She ride up to the gas station. She parked the bicycle. She go walk all around all the people at the other store, talk to everybody in the parking lot, and then she come back, get on her bike, and leave. And then she come back again on her bike. 30 minutes later, I'm like, she's delivering something. There ain't no way she. But anyway, there was another guy who was no shirt on, bald, riding around on a beach cruiser, carrying a 5-foot stick, acting like it was like an oar or a rowboat. I'm like, There was one big fella who I ended up talking about football with him when the truck was there. Uh, he knew everybody, and he yelled and screamed at everybody. I'm on the phone with Johnny, and Johnny's like, "Who is yelling?" I'm like, "Some guy behind the van. He knows everybody." And so, but the van would go back. I figured out it would go backwards, so I kind of moved it out of the way. And when the tow truck got there, they took me there. They dropped me off at the place, and the guy said, the tow truck driver looks at it and says, "Your caliper is into the wheel." He's like, "It's almost like you've lost one of the bolts that holds that bracket on." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did the brakes a month ago. I must have not tightened that one as tight as I should have." He said, "Well, I've seen them work loose even if you tighten them. So, but I know I must have made a mistake." The guy said, "I just sent everybody to lunch. Give us a couple hours. We'll probably get you hooked up." And so I go across the street to eat a sandwich at Popeyes. I can't even finish the sandwich. That guy calls me back. "You're ready to go, Mr. Zuki." It was $54 to put the bolt in. Uh, Put another bolt back in to hold the bracket back. That's all that was wrong with it. It didn't tear anything up. It didn't, and I was on my way.
I'll tell
Very,
you what, the way
very. Go ahead.
they're not putting spare tires in cars anymore. They're putting some kind of inflator system in it.
I've got a spare.
I don't know what the hell people's going to do when you're out in the middle of like I-26 out in the middle of that in the middle of damn nowhere and you shred a tire. You know
You
that
look
inflator ain't going to do you a bit of good.
look at Bogalusa. That is nowhere.
I was looking at that on the map.
So, so your mind wanders in 3 hours. I'm looking for rental places. There's no car rental places. I'm like, I hope I don't have to stay here. Johnny's like, "I'm gonna come. I'll pick you up if I got to." I'm like, but that's. I mean, I left at 2 o'clock. I'm 378 miles. It's yeah. I got very fortunate to get out of my own stupidity.
You're just going to have to get you a newer vehicle that you have not run to damn death.
Uh, Larry, I've got an impact. I've got a cordless impact driver that it will it will never not make it on a trip with me.
Yeah, those
Okay.
if you got aluminum wheels, it seems like it's almost impossible to get lug nuts off.
Oh, well, even then, I don't know if your F-250 is like my F-150 because the wheel and it attaches to the. You need a sledgehammer to loosen the wheel from where it attaches to the rotor to the hub.
Yeah.
Years ago, I was going down the road and the front wheel locked up, front right hand wheel locked up. And I mean, before I could get stopped, I mean, I was down to the rim. And what had happened was the rotor had shattered, and a piece of it was big enough that the brake pad could drop down into. And so when it did, it just stopped that wheel, locked that wheel up tight. And it was, well, it was scary to me, but I called my dad on our radios and told him what was going on. And so he and my brother brought a truck and a trailer down there, and we loaded it back up on the back of it because I had a little Ranger. And we took it back to the tire place that did all of our brake work and whatnot. So it ended up costing somebody, not us, a new rotor, a new rim, a new tire, and a lot of damn aggravation.
I just had to make sure that I didn't lose my book bag while I was down there because I was riding pretty heavy. I had I had a a couple couple pieces of metal that identify as firearms, and I had extra ammunition for both of them. Yeah, I was ready to be in New Orleans.
Lag. We didn't have, I'd never drove a Model T. Never.
Did you have to crank start your first car?
No, but my neighbor had my our neighbor when I was a teenager. Our neighbor had a Model A with the hand crank in the front of it. He and I was like 16 years old. His son was the same age. He would not let us touch that thing because he said, "You've got to know what you're doing." He said because if that crank kicks back on you, it will
It'll break,
rip your arm off.
it'll break your. So one corner store doesn't open till noon, and it's the gas station nearest Walmart restaurant, 4 hours away. Oh, that is the middle of nowhere.
Wait a minute, I thought you said you lived at. Who was it that said they lived over on an island? I don't. It's probably too far up now. I thought you lived over in the swanky area.
Yeah, that's
You know, I always used to. I back in the day. I mean, the young ones like Lag don't remember these days, but Domino's was the only ones that delivered to your house, and you had to have Vancouver Island. I thought that was a really swanky, highly dense area.
hey.
Still,
There's somebody I watch on YouTube who's over there. I think he's on Vancouver Island. Van City Van Life. I'm pretty sure he is building a shop on Vancouver Island. I thought. I don't know if you watch Van City Van Life. He lives in a van, but he's building a shop that will sell fix vans and sell all kinds of stuff.
good morning, Josh. But I used to say if Domino's doesn't deliver, I'm too far out. And now now my opinion is if Domino's does
Dang,
deliver,
Josh.
you're not far enough out.
Dang, what the heck? We got two Canadians in the same show.
World is going to shit.
They're still here, Lag.
What the hell? She says she's heard it. He rides around. He carries on riding off throughout, and he likes getting out in the middle of nowhere in that big van. Him and his dog.
One of our North Carolina big cities is allowing people to live in is made it legal to live in your car now because they're having such a problem with homelessness.
Yeah, don't
You,
let those Canadians in. They're terrible, Josh. You got to watch out.
Josh, Canadians, Yankees, they're about the same. So if we got to let the Yankees in, we got to let the Canadians in too. And let's don't even get started on those West Coast people.
So does that mean Josh is like double bad if he's a Canadian and then if he comes over here he's in New York so he's a Yankee? You can't win, Josh. What the hell? You're either a Canadian or you're a carpetbagger, one or the other. What the hell?
Your sister was born in Canada, Josh. I thought you were in Canada. Are you a Are you
No,
one of those Americans that went to Canada because you couldn't stand it down here any longer?
uh, Don, you're so lucky you get to see me in person in a couple days. I know Mary's looking forward to it. She won't say it, but I know she's looking forward to it.
Is that the meetup?
Yeah.
And
Don
that's
and Mary, two hip chicks are coming down to the. They need to come down here now because if they wait another 30 or 60 days, it'll be so hot they'll be crawling back to Michigan, begging for them to let them back into Michigan.
Maggie. When are y'all coming to to the land of Oz?
Yeah, there's several. I don't. Does Larry Way out coming this show? So Larry will be there. There's Chris the Goose will be there. Harlan, me, Jennifer, uh, Jake the Slumlord will be there. Joni will be there. Harlan's new lady will be there, so everybody get to meet her.
Mr.
Okay.
Sadie, lag might be French Canadian. um,
You turn the door open. Is there a dog coming?
did you?
Don't go. Yeah, I
Okay.
bet there's going to be 100 people there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Todd was supposed to come, but he chickened out.
Who?
You and Todd were supposed to come, but y'all were losers.
Well, I just got back from a dadgum cruise. Let's see. How far is it? How long from Charlotte, North Carolina?
I would say probably 6.
Still saving my nickels to go to Europe this summer.
6 hours and 34 minutes.
Because somebody has to keep your cruise ships in business. Might as well be
Yeah,
me.
I knew it was 6 hours. Oh, Don, look at the forecast now. There shouldn't be any rain. Um, yeah, because Jennifer's coming and she lives in what the hell's that little town she lives in? Gaffney, South Carolina.
Gaffney. Oh my God. Are you? Is she in here?
No, she's probably shipping.
Okay. Gaffney.
Well, now I think she's actually, since she's getting divorced, I think she's actually in Bowling Springs.
Oh, that's even. That's going from bad to worse. In high school, Gaffney had it when I was in high school in the 70s. Gaffney had a bad reputation and for being rough. Like from Rock Hill to Gaffney, we would have to get on I-85 and go
Mm,
down.
yep.
They would throw concrete blocks off the overpasses on top of our buses. So later on that year, when they played in Rock Hill, we set their school bus on fire.
God,
Allegedly set their school bus on fire. It was a band bus. Uh,
That makes it better. It was just a van. Yeah, Don, y'all coming down Thursday?
Swamp, you going?
Yeah, Glenn's going too. Everybody's gonna be there except you two. You two hosers.
When is that? Next weekend
This Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
of this week?
Yeah.
Oh, nah, this is too quick. I'm still trying to get over my cruising.
They have football there too, but more like hockey. Uh, I feel like I was a Canadian the other day. I listened to I watched the whole season of Letterkenny.
Of who?
Letterkenny.
What is that?
It's a Canadian comedy TV show. Oh my God, you get a little on the high side and start watching Letterkenny. That's some great entertainment there. That's one of my favorite shows, Letterkenny. Oh my.
Roberta and I watched a lot of Kids in the Hall back in the day. If any of y'all remember that, that was some good shit there.
I was flipping through Instagram the other day, and somebody had posted Trailer Park Boys. I forget I forget what the hell Bubbles was carrying on about. uh,
that was a funny show. I need to go back and rewatch that. It's just so stupid, but it's funny.
Yeah, most good humor is stupid.
Raising marijuana inside a trailer with aluminum foil on the walls and stuff.
Is there something wrong with that? Is that not normal?
Then I forget what happened. I think it caught fire or something. Anyway,
I mean, North Carolina is crack capital of the world now. It appears.
Did y'all see? One of the groups I'm in, I put posts on their stuff. So I don't know if people are too sensitive, but it says Walmart has announced they'll be selling Father's Day cards in packs of four for those of you that need them.
Yeah. Is the Stanley Cup hockey and the Jets is U.S. football?
yeah, Tom.
That's like curling. Curling is shuffleboard on ice. It's a great sport.
If you're gonna find, I don't care what shirt Mary wears, Dawn, you're gonna have to go find her because she's gonna be hiding somewhere.
Stanley Cup is for seal hunting. Uh,
So Josh, your store was crickets, and then they said they fixed it. Is that just something that's been temporary, or is that something that they say that that's the ongoing problem, and maybe you're solved for good? I bet they won't ever admit that there's ever been a problem anywhere. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm going to do today is come and review all 450 items in my store and take down quite a few of them. I really think the sell-through rate of your store has a ton to do with your visibility and your search rank and your then how much things you actually sell. Uh,
And this is, do y'all have football bats up there too? We have them down here too. You're the first time I've heard anybody say that except my brother.
uh,
you're
Yeah.
all over.
Okay. Are you iOS as in? Wait a minute. Are you talking about the software? You talk about the international? No, that's the IOC.
Glenn, 9 hours is too much. You realize I left here at 2 a.m. and I got to my hotel at 10 p.m. And I spent 4 hours in the wonderful uh, Bogalusa.
Did you
Uh,
take any video while you were there, or you do like some selfies or anything?
I did not want to upset the residents.
Oh, the bald-headed guy must be the popo.
No, they were making their rounds through there. I saw the same three police cars like 7 or 8 times. They must have been thinking there's somebody lost and he won't leave. We keep checking on him, make sure he's still alive. Killed his visibility, I guess.
Uh, yeah, there are certain areas you have to be careful of.
Yeah, so that day was 2 a.m. to 10 p.m. The next day I get up and I leave the hotel at 7. I get to the next hotel at 9:15 p.m. in Florida. So I was in Louisiana. I was in New Orleans, and then I spent the next night in Florida, and then I left that hotel because I found a couple yard sales, and so I left there at 7, and I got home at 6. So I don't want to hear about 9 hours, Glenn. What the hell? Saturday I did have to take a nap because that was a lot for the old man.
It's so Josh ships from Josh's store is in America.
Yeah, he's in
America.
Niagara Falls, USA. aka Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing, Anissa.
Josh, so one of the shows I watch every day, the car wrecks shows, U.S. and Canada, and you Canadians that are supposed to be so nice, put a steering wheel in y'all's hands, y'all become giant assholes. How can y'all's whole country has been the reputation of we're so nice, but if you're in a car, man, y'all kill each other. What the hell?
I was watching a YouTube video some time ago, and it was talking about why the Canadians drive on the same side as the States does instead of like the rest of the UK empire um, on the opposite side. And it's because somebody decided that it would just be easier for the world if Canadians and Americans drove on the same side, and they just figured that Americans weren't going to change because we still had the thing going with the UK. Some people are still fighting that war, but
No, the
I'd never thought
UK
about it
is on the right side.
for them.
No, it's on the right side. It's Ireland and the rest of Europe that is on the other side.
Yeah, I don't. I was
I
only, I was only carrying two on this last trip, Josh. One for me and one for the van.
um, how much did it cost you to get out of Boogaloo or whatever it was called?
$54.
Four.
Bogalusa. And the very next stop, I found enough stuff to cover $350 in sales.
Good. Oh, here you go with those special gummies again. My mother-in-law visited a dispensary in Denver, and she said she thought she was walking into a high-end jewelry store. She, she said that place was nice.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Green Dragon, Colorado.
The Green Dragon. I bought this in Denver on the very first trip I went out there. The Green Dragon, baby. They've got quite a few dispensaries. The Green Dragon is a chain in Denver.
Those damn Canadian geese down here in North Carolina, they think they own the damn place. They will hold up traffic while they take their sweet time walking across the damn road.
Oh my God, they're just shitting machines. That's all they are. They fly around and crap. That's all they do.
They used to be on the no hunting list here in South Carolina or down in South Carolina.
Do you think the rednecks actually care what they shoot?
Oh, you do you?
You just can't shoot any of these.
Yeah.
These are supposedly souvenirs. Oops.
What?
These are my favorite find for the yard sales so far this year.
Are you keeping those?
Yeah, they're salt pepper shakers from Japan.
They look a little bit like that Muppet eagle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. Yeah, they're sitting over here on the desk because I like them, just hanging out. they have a place of reverence over here against it. They're sitting over here right beside this guy.
Sam.
I
That
got,
was his Sam Eagle.
I got
Everybody everybody needs one of these.
Potter and Weasley here is on my
Oh,
desk.
Harry Potter.
I don't know what happened to my oh,
Harry
never
and
mind.
Ron.
And then my self portrait.
Did somebody make that for you?
No, it's actually a Funko. I've got the box right here somewhere from some Mexican TV show.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they even got me with a gun.
Dang. The
You sit over there with the Eagles. Larry said he used to collect Japanese figures, but it got out of control.
oh Lord, Larry, did you like the anime characters? Because some of them are pretty risque. So, what do you got on your agenda for today, Scott?
I'm gonna find some caffeine somewhere. I'm probably gonna take one of these pills here. I'm gonna fall asleep.
What is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
At 11 o'clock, I'm gonna watch Dawn and Mary because they're entertaining. 11 o'clock my time while I list. I'm just listing, and I'm gonna try to organize this building. And since we're gonna be gone Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I need to set up the auction for next week. So I'm gonna also be working on the auction.
You're on the other. You're on the other side of the room today, aren't you? Is that the garage door to your right?
Yeah, I turned this thing around like 6 months ago. What are you talking
Did
about?
you really? You see how observant I am.
Yeah, it used to be away. It used to be away under the flag.
That's what I thought. Mr. T was in Charlotte this past weekend.
I pity the fool who went to see him.
Mr. Trump.
Oh, that Mr. T.
Yeah. I think the other Mr. T's dead, isn't he?
No, Mr. T is not dead.
Well, once Todd gets back.
Mr. T, an American actor, uh, born in 1952. He's not that old.
Oh, he's not old.
He's 71. He's still alive.
He's not much older than Todd.
Yeah, but I'll probably go right around Thursday, and then
Yeah, still, and I'm the only one that apparently has a landline in the whole eBay YouTube universe.
you are.
I just, as I tell my son, I'm not 16 years old. I don't walk around with my cell phone hung in my hand, my hip.
Yeah, I need to clean it. I keep talking about. I need to clean up this mess. I need to test that too. That's a water distiller.
I thought you were moving everything to your warehouse. I mean, you except when you bring stuff in the list. Or is that everything you got to list today that you haven't listed?
Yeah, I think I'm sending most stuff to the auction. I really like yesterday. I had to ship 67 items. 63 of them were right over there. You know how easy that makes life. Whenever 63 out of 67 are right there, and everything's much smaller. And so I'm in the process of looking through the eBay store to If it's large, I don't want to deal with it anymore, and I want to be able to ship from here.
Well, it's going to be. So you're just going to kind of lay low this week and try to get stuff listed and shipped and be
Yeah,
ready to go out and party this weekend in Nashville.
yeah. If I don't go tomorrow, and just skip the live show again.
Good morning, Donna. I just it's just convenient. Pop pop lag. People,
Yeah, like
I've got so many nephews and nieces. My brothers, or some of them are pop. They cover all the daggum names. What is that?
it's a water. It's a water distiller. I need to test it because it's worth almost $300.
Wow.
I think all you do is put water in it and turn it on.
I told my brothers that when the day becomes, if I'm still alive, I'm gonna have my grandkids call me George.
Like George Jetson.
Yeah, that's good enough.
It's this fancy pot that it puts water in, still water. I have a bunch of it's like 8 boxes of these, and I need to get listed.
What is that? Braziers?
Uh, Hanes panties.
Oh, more.
Hmm.
Um,
They're just sitting here. They're in the way. They need to be dealt with. And the longer I keep ignoring them, the more comfortable they get sitting up there.
how mu- how many more have you sold? Any more of your big girl panties? Go ahead and say it, and it's a shout out to the big girls. Have you been selling many lately?
I think I'm just gonna start wearing them myself as disposable and just cut them off every night and be.
You need to take a couple of box loads with you to Nashville with you, and tell these folks that if they buy a pack from you for whatever money price you put on it, that you'll sign it, you'll autograph it.
I'm gonna pass them out at the in Nashville at the meetup.
Uh, and this Scott needs to make a T-shirt that says "Shout out to the big girls." All right, Scott Todrick's back. I gotta go. It's 10 o'clock. 10:07.
Yeah, I need to get to work.
Yeah, because if you're gonna be gone, you got to get busy.
All right, let's all get out there and conquer our Tuesday.
That's right. All right. Thank you everybody for coming in
Let's get the
and hanging out with us. Get your morning going. Thank you, Todd and Scott, for coming in here. We appreciate it. And we will see you. Are you going to do a show tomorrow, Scott? Are
yeah.
you
I'll be on tomorrow.
look for Scott tomorrow? He might get up in the morning and end up back in Boogaloo, Louisiana, or someplace like that. Otherwise, y'all have a great day. Make it a great day, and we will see y'all later. Bye.